In our last video, the last topic I would like to talk with you about is launching the new me. But for understand launching the new me, we have to understand what is the new me, what is that, and then how do we launching this new me, like the what and the how, let's call it that way, or the content and the form. They like to see it more in art, but it's the same. So the new me, as I personally see, is someone who is really, really satisfied with his or her life. In sense that this is something inside yourself that is being satisfied with your action in life and that you are progressing something that you believe. Maybe the values that we talked about in the last video about this victorious image or picture of yourself. So it means that what you are doing, you will be even happy to do it for free without having any kind of salary or some kind of feedback for that, because it really makes you feel good. And then also, personally, I like to see that this is the best thing, that your work is something that you love to do. And I think this is very, very important. And then we have to think about what is satisfaction for you. Is to be very, very rich or to be very, very successful, which are things that I think that they are important and they are great, but I don't see them as a purpose. I see them as a very positive side effect to something that is very, very satisfying you. And to be satisfied, it's a process. It's not something that it's dynamic in sense. It's not all the time, oh, I understood what I love to do, and then you just do that and that's it. But it means that this is something that is satisfying you, and you will have the energy to fight for it because it's important for you and it makes you feel good. And then it will help you to go and continue this kind of process. Like Nietzsche said, that if you know why, then you'll be able to deal with the how. Okay? So, satisfaction, very, very important. And then I say this is the new me or new you. And this is, I guess, was one of the reasons that you joined this kind of challenge. Because you felt that you're not in your best, you're not satisfied, but in a healthy kind of aspect, not in a very Western, let's say, I'm not satisfied because I'm not this and this and this. Like really, when you're close to yourself, it means that you're satisfied with your action in the world. That's how I see it. So this is the what, how, the launching this new me. So the next thing is that when we think about launching, it means that you have to practice about what holds you in a high frequency. What is that high frequency? This is very, very abstract. But I want to give you some kind of idea that when you don't feel good with yourself, you're very, very low, very, very energized. Sorry, very less energized. You feel that you're disattached a little bit from the reality, from yourself, from the life, from the world. So it's not a bad thing to do. This is something very, very natural. But this is some kind of a low frequency that is not really allowing you to make some actions. This is some kind of state that maybe is boiling something. But as you know, when you let something to boil too much, it's not good as well. So you don't want to stay in that kind of state for a long time. So you want to be proactive for yourself and to find the tools that you we talked a little bit before or that you found for your own life or whatever, but it makes you feel for yourself that you're much more proactive. And this is what I mean by a higher frequency, in sense that you are much more positive and energized to act even when the situation is very, very complicated. But you're in life, you're active in life, you're choosing in life, even when you're being very, very, how to say, when it's very, very hard to function and to make some actions. This is when we really find our own powers, our own mental powers that in some kind of other situation just didn't find out. Another thing is that you have to know and you have to research what on the daily aspect is making you feel closer to yourself. I will give you a small example, but it's important. Sometimes I'm personally dealing with a lot of anxiety, and in the morning there is a rush of cortisol that we talked about before, and it's related to the light that we see in the morning. So the body is taking some kind of cortisol to to our bloodstream to make us a bit up. But if you have some kind of a tendency for a lot of stress or just a tendency for anxiety, so this cortisol is really start to make some triggers in your body. And I know personally that when I wake up in the morning and when I do some kind of yoga or qigong, and this is not a luxury for me, I suddenly know how to contain this kind of energy that the stress and the cortisol are pushing me, and then I can know I can later after I'm being after I did the qigong or the yoga, I know I can act. What do I mean that I can act? That I'm being able to react to some kind of anxiety that I have that is not holding me back. I take this energy and I turn this the other way around, and then I can progress because I don't believe in myself as someone who is anxious that's supposed to live like that. I think the anxiety is an engine for me to act. And in that sense, after that, I feel much more closer to myself. And when I'm the anxiety, I don't really recognize myself because I feel like some kind of a demon, let's call it that way, got control over my body. So this is what I mean that you have to do some kind of action that makes you closer to yourself. So this is about launching the new me.